The book's called Notes of a Newsman, and it's got subtitled Witness to a Changing Scotland. And it is basically charting my career, but also in parallel with that is the development of the independence movement right up to the referendum. And that was the key to my writing the book on the 19th of September 2014, which was the date the result became known. It also coincided with my 20th anniversary at STV. And it occurred to me that when I joined STV, nobody could have seen that change. You may have seen a Scottish Parliament in the horizon, possibly, but nobody would have thought we would have come that close to Scotland becoming independent. And because of the very privileged position I have first of all as a reporter and then as a presenter, I've been involved in one way or another with much of that. So I thought, well, this is worth charting it. It's based principally on scripts that were used when I was at the BBC, where I worked for a time, and also at STV. So it's scripts I will have either written as a reporter or that I will have read out as a presenter. So that's the basis. I've also kept a diary for a long time, so there are certain diary extracts. There are transcripts of interviews that I have conducted with, for example, Donald Dewar as First Minister, Jack McConnell as First Minister, Alex Salmond as First Minister, even Nicola Sturgeon now as First Minister. So transcripts of these are in it. And also recollections, both personal and of colleagues who covered stories that I maybe didn't attend, just to get a different perspective. It'll benefit a lot of people, I would think, I would hope. People who are interested in politics, interested in what's been happening in Scotland in recent years, will chart all of that over the last 25, almost 30 years. It will also show the development of one particular journalist's career, and that will be of interest, I would hope, to people who maybe are interested in pursuing that career. When I first started, I joined the Sunday Post, was the first job I ever got, which at that time was a huge selling Sunday newspaper, still obviously, still very popular even now. And I then moved to BBC Radio, and in that first year, yes, it would have been the first year I was at BBC Radio, you had the Piper Alpha disaster and you had the Lockerbie disaster. Lockerbie, I took the first call, what I believe was the first call to the BBC from the AA saying, and from a local saying they'd seen a plane hit the town. So you had that, you had these big dramatic events. You had Dunblane, and we've had the George Square tragedy and the Clutha tragedy. So you've had these stories. But politically, it has been quite a development, particularly since 1997, I would have said. You could take it back to 1992 almost. I started in the Thatcher era. It was thought in 1992 that the Conservatives would lose power. They didn't. Labour then changed. John Smith became the leader, but tragically died in 1994. Then Tony Blair became leader. So you had this 1997 election, and that was a huge event. And I remember reporting that there were no Conservative MPs left in Scotland. My opening line was they felt like skittles in a bowling alley, and they really did. It was quite a surprise. So that was the 1997 election. From that, you get the 1997 devolution referendum, the Scottish Parliament elections, 99. And then things settled down for a while, apart from the tragic death of Donald Dewar. You had Henry McLeish as First Minister period, and then Jack McConnell's. But then in 2007 you got a minority SNP administration, and then 2011 you got a majority SNP administration, and at that point we all knew, well, there is now going to be an independence referendum. The pinnacle of my career was presenting a special STV News at 10 live from Edinburgh, just as the polls closed. We timed it actually, we scripted it that just Big Ben's bongs, which is marking 10 o'clock, that's the polls closed. And at that point it was still too close to call. Nobody could really say, is Scotland going to be independent, or is it going to remain part of the United Kingdom? And you had two capitals waiting on that choice. And it was a fascinating period. I don't think anything will match that.